A very Harold and Kumar Christmas 3D was released in 2011 and delivers pretty much everything you are expecting from if you've watched Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle and Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay, except Christmas themed and 3D, which they really drive the 3D in this film. It's absolutely insane. Snowballs at your face, glass at your face, joints at your face. There's a joint running at the screen. I didn't watch this in 3D, but you can definitely tell which scenes are supposed to be in 3D. And like I said, it's one of those films that has absolutely no reason to be in 3D, but they make it as a gimmick. And it's just funny what they decide to make 3D. But regardless, out of the three, I might say that this is the one I enjoyed the most, and I think a lot of that comes from just the Christmas theme itself. They didn't just throw the Christmas theme in there to just have a reason to make it a holiday film. They play with it and they play with it well, and it's more heartwarming than I expected it to be. With Harold and Kumar's story and the direction they decide to take that, and everything they use that's Christmas themed in this movie is really, really well done. I'm also somebody who didn't enjoy Escape from Guantanamo Bay a whole lot. I think that's the weakest of these three. Go to White Castle's awesome. And then this one is awesome too. And it's not that it's better made than White Castle. I think I just personally, not related to it, but got more out of it pretty much than Go to White Castle, and that's why I would say that this one, in my opinion, is probably the best of the three, and the one that I would throw in the most anyway. So what happens is Harold and Kumar now are living separate lives. Kumar is still getting stoned all the time. He has a girlfriend who ends up being pregnant at the beginning of the film. She comes in and tells him that she's pregnant, and Harold is also living with this Spanish woman, I believe, named Maria, and her father is played by Danny Trejo, of course. So many cameos in this film, it's great. Danny Trejo plays Carlos. That his name is Carlos, and he's obviously your badass Mexican dad. Uh, he's really funny in this film. And other people like show up too. Like Patton Oswalt is at the beginning of the film. He's playing a mall Santa, and that's how you're introduced to Kumar as well. Kumar comes in and jumps on Santa's lap, and you think he's just, being vulgar for the sake of being vulgar or just being stupid because everybody in the mall recognizes him, and he's like, oh, here we go again. And Kumar like jumps on Santa's lap, but it ends up that Patton Oswalt is his drug dealer, and then they go around back to Patton's car, and they're looking through a bunch of weed that has all these Christmas names, and it's like Deck the Weeds or whatever. That just they're going on and on with a list of freaking different hilarious Christmas names for weed. It reminds me of that scene in Ted where Ted is talking about they're coming, and mind rape and all that stuff, but all Christmas things. So they're living these separate lives, and one day Kumar, right after he's told by his girlfriend that his girlfriend's knocked up, he gets this package in the mail, and it's for Harold. And Harold doesn't live there anymore, so he goes to deliver the package to Harold's house. And inside the package, it ends up being a really, really massive joint, of course. What else would be in the package? And Harold says that, he doesn't smoke anymore. He's changed around. He has this really great job now at, I don't know exactly what he does, but he's well off. He's making money, and he's grown up now. The joint, when Kumar lights it and Harold throws it out the window, ends up coming back through the window and lighting this Christmas tree on fire, which apparently Carlos, Danny Trejo's character, has been growing for 8 years. And it's this like fawn tree or something like that. It's a really good quality tree. Burns completely to the ground, and the whole story from there is Harold and Kumar trying to look for a tree to replace the tree that they burnt down. I like how Thomas Lennon is in here. Thomas Lennon is a really hilarious actor. I think I've always liked him since film I just watched recently. I Love You Man. I Love You Man with him in it. The guy's just every time he's in a role, he's hilarious. This film gets really mean spirited at times. I'm just gonna mention uh, Thomas Lennon's daughter in this film. They keep making a run in joke that she's always getting high, because there's a scene where Kumar lights a bong in the car and then it like smokes up. She breathes in all the fumes and gets high that way. There's another scene later on where they end up at this office Christmas party, and somehow she gets cocaine thrown in her face, and this girl's like 2 years old. I'm like, man, that's mean spirited. I don't even know how to feel about that. There's a lot of raunchiness to this film. There's a scene which I think they did in White Castle too, where it's kind of a montage of what they have as a plan, because they discover this Christmas tree in a church, and then it just goes on to this montage where it says the plan, and then they're talking about their plan, how they're going to infiltrate the church and steal this Christmas tree, and let's just say if you're offended easily, uh, I'm laughing. Um, let's just say if you're offended easily, you're gonna be offended by this scene, because a lot of jokes being made on the subject of Catholicism. it's oh my god, it's over the top. And then you got Neil Patrick Harris back in this movie, and he makes a really good performance, very Christmas themed too. He's a stage performer, and somehow Harold and Kumar get not lured, but mistaken for stage performers themselves. And you have this scene that goes on for about 2 to 3 minutes where NPH is doing this theater performance kind of thing and singing, and they make a whole run in joke too with this character, because Neil Patrick Harris is gay in real life, but he's always playing these like womenizing characters in, was it no, How I Met Your Mother, is that it? I don't know, the show he's in, where he plays a guy who's always wearing suits. I'm blanking on the name of the show. But regardless, they make a joke with him where he has a boyfriend and he came out as gay and whatnot. And these paparazzi are trying to interview him. And then he goes to the back room, to the dressing room with his boyfriend. And then he's like, oh, what did I say about tongue? And he's again playing this macho straight guy in the film, where he's just pretending to be gay so he can have a bunch of chicks be into him. It's like, oh my god, I love that you're gay and yada yada, and try to lure chicks into the room so he can have sex with them. And he ends up playing this total creep. Now, I don't know if that was the point, if he was trying to make like a jab at your Weinsteins and people in Hollywood who abuse their power, because that's the character he's playing, but at the same time he's portrayed as like Harold and Kumar's really good friend, and he's supposed to be like this really great guy. So it doesn't really add up. Like if they portrayed him as a villain, it would be more funny, but yeah, he brings this girl to the back, and he's trying to like act gay, and he asks her to take her clothes off, and he's like, oh, I'm gay, it's like a bunch of girls together. But then he gets on her back and he's like, okay, I'm just gonna put some lotion on you in about 35 seconds, as he's like, jerking himself. Oh my god, this film is such bad taste. But it's so funny at the same time. You get this you get this toy robot that's introduced in a commercial at the beginning of the film. And this toy robot, it's a waffle robot. It's a robot that bakes waffles and like even has like hot syrup come out of it. And there's a scene where the robot, something opens up in his like stomach area or groin area, and then this thing comes out and shoots hot syrup. Not, I wonder what the hot syrup is supposed to represent. I don't know. Maybe you tell me in the comments. Oh man, it's nuts. This film's nuts. Elias Koteas? Elias Koteas, an actor that pops up in a lot of stuff. He plays this Russian guy named, what's his name? Sergei Katsov. Sergei Katsov is this big, like, this big mafia, not mafia because he's Russian, but or Ukrainian, but this big, like, crime boss who has a really hot daughter who at the beginning of the film too is texting or FaceTiming Kumar, wanting to hook up with Kumar, claiming that she's a virgin. And they play off that joke too, and you're wondering, like, okay, well, they're obviously going somewhere where either this girl's gonna, have a dick or something, or she's not gonna be who she says she is. Well, it turns out she's the daughter of this crime boss, played by Elias Koteas. And Elias Koteas is an American too, so he's portraying a Ukrainian guy, and he does a really good job at it. It's really funny, his performance. He's one of the better ones in the film. But the daughter, because nobody wants to go to bed with her because her dad's a friggin' crime boss, and everybody's afraid to be with her. She's so desperate for sex that she just basically tries to throw herself at any guy that comes around that she wants, but nobody wants to have sex with her because nobody wants to get killed. And like I said, this, for a Harold and Kumar film especially, and for a raunchy comedy that it is, it's really, really heartwarming, and funny enough, it really put me in the Christmas spirit, and was one of the last films that I thought would do so, compared to other films that are classic for being able to do that, like Home Alone and stuff like that, Jingle All the Way. This one had a lot of Christmas-iness to it, and along with all the drug jokes, the stoner moviness, the sex comedy that it's supposed to be, really drove that Christmas theme. Santa Claus shows up in this movie, and he's played by Richard Reel. I think that's how you pronounce his name. This is a guy. He's an older gentleman. He has a white mustache. He shows up in so many roles. He's the guy that just shows up in movies. He did an appearance in Hatchet. He did an appearance in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I think he made an appearance in Jackass, if I'm not mistaken. The Jackass movies. I think he appeared in those. And he's just one of those guys. When you see his face, you'll know the actor. He never has any lead roles, none that I know of, but he'll show up randomly in different films, and he shows up in this one as Santa, and it's pretty funny. The Christmas music in this film is really good too, and I don't know, the Christmasness to it just complements Harold and Kumar better than I thought it would. So this is definitely a thumbs up for me. I really enjoyed this film. Probably is my favorite Harold and Kumar film, and I had a great time with it. So I recommend watching this if you haven't seen it before. It was my first time watch, and I would buy this one on Blu-ray for sure. And if I get the opportunity to see it in 3D, I wouldn't mind either. So subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice, or if you like my film reviews. I'll be back with lots more. This is December, so that means Christmas movies. And until next one, take care, have a good one, and cheers.